Oh yeah, time for a new patch of Deadlock. This game sucks.
Panda, have you been playing Deadlock this entire time?
I mean, yeah, the new patch just dropped. It's been really exciting.
Panda, it's been a week!
No way. I haven't even realized. I'll tell you something, Potemkin. After playing Deadlock and getting put with only snipers, I want a game with only grapplers, man. Sucks. Oh, what's coming from this monitor? Do you see that?
I think you got what you wished for.
You might be right. A game with only grapplers. It's beautiful.
My loyal fans!
Hey, hey!
任務を遂行する。終わりだ。
Today's video will be different as we'll be diving headfirst into a game that is mostly grapplers. The characters will be a wee bit samey, but there are some differences among them that make them interesting in the game. I plan on checking out multiple grapplers in this video in a rapid fire succession. What's up fellas, Panda here, and I hope you guys are looking forward to today's video. And be sure to like and sub, because we are very close to that 5k mark, where we'll cover Zangief. If you guys want to support me, be sure to check out the membership system, as it's greatly appreciated. We're not going to break down what a grappler does, because you're going to get to see 8 of them. You're going to know what a grappler does pretty quickly. That, and I've redone this bit twice. The first time, my mic had interference, and the second time, my mic was peaking. So, that's awesome. But time for the game of today. Go fight! Kinnikuman Muscle Grand Prix 2! There was a what? This is an interesting case. This was a 3D fighter that was made after the popular Japanese series called Kinnikuman during the 80s, which started as a parody of Superman if he was a bum, into a story of burning souls and friendship. If you like modern shonen, you have to thank this series. I'm not kidding. If you like any modern day grappler, you have to thank this series. I'm not kidding. With the Alex trailer that just came out, he references 2 of the big moves. Zangief stole the main character's fit. And if you like the hit game with the anime horses, you know, the Uma Musume, would you believe it? They reference it on the occasion. It's had a massive impact on many things, including stuff like Dragon Ball, as it's one of the Mac Daddies of shonen anime. If you like shonen, this is where the formula came from. However, the series is very, very dated, where you have to look at it with a rose-tinted lens, because there's quite the few elephants within this room that need addressing. So much so it looks like Dhalsim stage. If you guys are interested in it, there will be a video in the description in the comments talking about its history and why it didn't really get dubs. And I think I might do a video in the future talking about the inspirations of Kinnikuman on fighting games. Getting into the game's mechanics is super important compared to other games, as this game is not that well known, and it was like a 3D fighter with a lot of weird nuances. When booting up, you're presented with many characters from the series. Then you get to pick your guy, then you pick the KKD system to choose from, and it's all in Japanese. Help. No need to worry, we have L Wiki for the help. You can choose from 3 different meters that have different buffs when you hit a low health point or when you activate the install. Blue is a damage based one. Green is a defensive system that reduces incoming damage and can lower hit stun. And red is a meter based one, giving you more meter when your health is low. But activating Burning Inner Strength will make these meter systems buff up. Green lessens the damage and the hit stun by a ton. Red gives infinite meter and gives special cancels. And blue gives the combo system from Street Fighter Alpha, where it's very custom and you can do whatever you want. The damage is scaled, but you can rack it up easily. After picking your meter and your dude, you're in the game, and when you're in, let's talk about Kinnikuman, the main guy. He's like a Shoto, but he's also a grappler. He has it all. If you're good with Kinnikuman, you're good at the game. Your buttons are simple, A being your strike, and this can be done with directions and command inputs to do strings or strike specials. T is throw, the main gimmick of the game. With directions and ropes and commands like strike, you can do all sorts of throws to capitalize for damage. The best throws give OTGs, more on that later. And mountain. And then you have S, kind of using your special meter. Any throw done with the S will have iframes, and a lot of the attacks that have like a ton of utility to it. Movement is like most 3D fighters, but lacking the cancels like Tekken and Virtua Fighter. So if you backdash, there's no KBD. Sidestepping can be evasive, but you can also be caught by throw. So how do you defend? You can block by pressing G, you can press forward and G, perform parries to make attacks less plus or even punishable. Back and G will take any throw coming your way, deleting a bar from your opponent and putting them in a punish state where you can hit them. Throws are reactable, so being awake at the wheel helps with throw spammers. They're all 24 frames, so it's very techable if you're on the ball. Lastly, the ropes. They kinda act like the wall in most 3D fighters, where it's very oppressive, except if you block a very heavy stunning attack near the ropes, you'll actually be swung off them for a free pickup. There's actually some throws that can give you the rope rebound, such as the Irish whip, which is a classic the wrestlers love to use. The rope leads to great rewards, so using throws that side swap or learning combos that side swap is super important in this game so you can make good utility of the ropes. That's everything you need to know. So here's the question. Who the f do I cover? I've chosen 8 characters who seem to be interesting or top tier or worth talking about in my mind. One character was bottom 1 and 5 of them were top tiers, and 2 of them are characters that I want to talk about either because they're interesting or because I think they're pretty cool. So let's start with the Zoner. He's bottom 1. Yeah! Planetman was designed to be a Zoner in a game filled with grapplers. And I just get this image in my head every time. Look at his list of cants. This is beautiful.
I used to pray for days like these.
Honestly, I don't blame him. So what made him bad? He had awful frame data to start with. A lot of his attacks are very slow, like his jab coming out in 17 frames in a game where your fastest attack is a 10 framer. Put it in perspective, Kazuya's done an electric in this time, and that is a pretty safe launcher that's plus on block, whereas this jab came out in 17 frames and was minus 11, punishable by the game standard. He's super meter hungry as he can only zone with meter. Also his projectiles are awful. They're either too slow or weak to sidestep, so he can't zone. The last weakness, these projectiles can only be done with meter. This is like an EA designed Street Fighter. You want to run red KKD with him, but like, you'd rather just not play him, you know? Again, like I said, this could be rapid round, so we're done talking about him. Let's talk about the top tiers by looking at the first fella that is very well known in this game. The Mountain. Smash! The Mountain is considered the king of cheese as he hits, well, like a mountain. This guy is kinda mid, stubby, slow, and very punishable. However, he has a claim to fame. Have you ever heard of a landslide? If Mountain punished you, or throwed you, he can link this special for as long as he had meter. Just look at the damage. A top tier for sure, but was dead linear in his game plan, relying heavily on a punish or a throw landing. A gimmicky top tier for sure. You want to run red KKD, build meter, or green depending if you needed the defense. If you come across a Mountain player, shred it. It's time for the top tier that was consistently busted and easy to play. Akuma Shogun. Akuma Shogun is considered one of the strongest characters who hits hard. And this makes sense as he is a boss character and one of the big bads of the series. You could totally see where Armor King got inspired by, either in a lot of the throws or his visual design. Look at him! He's one of the best characters in the game. First thing to note, this game has varied health and he had the highest. It takes 3 to 4 combos to kill him and he took 2 to kill you. He is a bully of a top tier. The running strike is super safe and links it to good combos. It can also cause a ring bounce on block, because of course, and he also had a neutral skip where he turned into diamonds and cut through you. Completely invincible and safe on block. And of course it gives a combo. His combos also hit hard, dealing 50% fairly consistently, with the air throw ender being a fantastic tool for getting that hard knockdown pressure and just running offense. He also has a throw launcher on stunned opponents, so that running knee into this is just godly. He wasn't lacking in any regard and just had very strong strength. Next is the top tier that took execution. You look towards this man as your kind of Mishima, but there's another Mishima. More on that later. Terryman. Terryman was like a rushdown grappler, having access to fast attacks and more strings than the usual character. He was made to open you up with a good old left-right combo. One of the best command grabs he had was a throw that acted like Makoto's command grab, leaving the opponent standing in a stun state. A godly throw for combos or resets. Now the execution part. Terryman was a combo god near the corner and out in the open. You had to get good at charge cancelling to do his combos. And this is something I've neglected to mention, as I feel like it's important for Terryman specifically. It's great for other characters, but Terryman is one of the main reasons why you need to learn this. If you do a move that is special cancelable, you can do charges, which builds up your meter. But you can actually do the start up and instantly cancel it to lessen your recovery frames, allowing for fast links. This is actually me doing this. I'm not gonna lie, my execution's pretty clean. I got like 3 of these in a row and I genuinely popped off. I'm clean, guys. I am clean, trust me. Terryman mains had to get good at this to understand his combo theory. If you can't get the fundies in execution, you can't play Terryman to the highest level. He was a gross pressure character that relied on the user to get good with charge cancels. Terryman was one of those players where if you saw someone play as Terryman, you get excited because you know that they're pretty good at this game fundamentally. But up next is the top tier that can grab you from anywhere, Ashura-man. The multi-arm top tier that ran this game, Ashura-man, was basic in premise, but it made him very unique. He was a long-reaching grappler. The goal was to play outside the enemy's range as you had the better reach. His throws reached further, he had good reach for punishing and throw punishing, and the funny thing, he had a zoning tool that is infinitely better than anything Planetman had. I'd say the poke was solid. As a punish, giving a ton of damage in a combo, and Death Valley is a punishing throw. Heart is at a 30% with an OTG follow-up. Yeah, the throws were good on this passive grappler as well. When it came to Ashura, he was strong due to always being in range of you. You couldn't escape the reach of the Ashura. The last top tier to talk about, Super Phoenix, aka the sauciest top tier in the game, there's no arguing it. Super Phoenix was super versatile, had a tool for every situation and had a ton of strings for whatever you needed. With a low skill floor, he also had a massive skill ceiling, making him one of the more fun characters to learn. Wanna learn how to do a motherfucking infinite?
Yo, you wanna learn how to do a infinite? I'ma teach you motherfucking bitch ass. Easy as What are you doing, motherfucker? Oh! How's it tight? Keep the rhythm up. If you fuck up the rhythm, the motherfucking combo will drop, motherfucker. But I ain't gonna do that shit.
He was designed for comboing as most of his tools are launchers or good for juggles. He was difficult due to not having normal charge cancels. Tapping it actually took longer for him, and I think this was coded as he was one of the boss characters, so it takes him 24 frames to do a charge. So he can't cancel like Terryman. If he had that, it'd probably make him beyond busted, but he didn't have that. So he had to get good with the ruthless, brutal technique. Silly name. You would do this molly hit and attack where you could cancel on the first hit if you wanted to, and you'd use this as a combo filler tool. Because if you did a string into this, you can link back to the original string to keep up the combo, kind of keeping up the infinite and the juggle state. This is very convoluted and hard to explain, but to simply put it, string, tool, string, tool, string, tool. That's how you do it. You go back and forth between all that, really getting into the nitty and gritty of the tools. This fella also had the Steve Sway back. The Sway had slight invul and it was hard to catch, so he was just super utility based. There wasn't anything he was lacking in. Also, he did have a horrible super where he would change the opponent's control. Hi Jason! Right, we're done with the top tier, so now we're going to talk about the characters I thought were interesting and really pulled me in when I was looking up this game and all the characters and what they do. And the first one being, what happens if you try and make Armor King a true Mishima? As said, they asked the question, what if Armor King was a true Mishima? His jab came out in 10 frames, unlike every other character, and this dominated the round start as he had one of the quickest tools to the punch. And now I present to you the Electric Spring God Fist.
Kazuya Mishima wins.
6XA was a launcher that is +6 on block. Had a ton of pushback, a lot like an electric. But with charge cancelling, it became +12. And this was rare for Kinnikuman, as characters didn't have plus double-digit moves, meaning you couldn't really challenge him. He had a ton of pushback on block, and if Springman had 9 bars, he could do an untechable super grab that did a ton of damage immediately after. Truly, the scariest Mishima. However, like Kazuya, he's minus on a lot of attacks, and he was very committal when it came to playing offense. He needed to get in to do a scary pressure, and a lot of his tools, if he was wrong, could actually cost him. Lacked any hit confirms and was lacking in the damage department sometimes, a lot like Kazuya, and I thought this was pretty cool. One of the coolest Mishimas of all time. The last guy I wanted to cover is someone I don't think is that unique compared to a lot of the other characters. Like, I think I wanted to cover Zebra Man, as I thought he was dead cool and probably the most technical character in the game. Like, there's nobody on his level besides Terryman. However, I wanted to talk about this Grappler, as I feel like he's inspired a ton of Grapplers within the current era. And in the Ultimate Muscle dub, he sorta talked like this. Robin Mask. The armor-cladded man was easy fella to pick up. Sorry about that. The armor-cladded man was an easy fella to pick up. He was lacking in the damage department, but he had many ways to make up for this, either being constant strike throw or bullying the opponent near the ropes. If he got a wall situation, he was great at bullying, and I mean, honestly, fantastic at it. He was stealing their lunch money every time. A lot of characters were good at bullying near the ropes, but Robin relied on it at times as he didn't hit hard as a character. He had this set play projectile that was good for the wall and hurting peeps trying to escape you hastily. If he got a heavy stun, that low damage turned into a cash out as he could finally launch the opponent. He lacked good launchers, but when he got it, he had solid combo routing. Also, this guy totally inspired Potemkin and Clark, either with his moves or his design. Look at that mask. His neutral options were very committal, like this diving headbutt or the special approaching tackle, but he had these as constant tools that the opponent had to keep in mind, that he could just leap from one side of the screen to another. Again, a lot like a Mega Fist or a Hammer Fall. He also had chain throws, which were awesome for setting up pressure and Oki, so that was dead cool. But in the end, he was designed as a character to bully near the wall, either using the projectile or using his heavy stun tools. That was his goal. But he was pretty straightforward, and a lot of the main characters were like that. They were very straightforward. Besides Terryman, he's tough. This game was awesome. There's so much variation between the grapplers, and there's a ton of depth in the game. You think it's like an arena fighter type game, but it's genuinely not. There's so much depth here that you can explore and have fun with. I feel like any of these characters can lure you in with the gameplay, either being super interesting or having a ton of depth. It's honestly awesome seeing what you can pick up and play. Now, they had a zoner grappler. They tried to design that and it didn't work out well. Good. I had a ton of fun with this video. It was very different exploring an entire game like this. I think I will come back to it at some point, as I think it's just not the usual. And if you guys enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe. We're trying to hit 5k subscribers to cover a fun version of Zangief. But be sure to say hi to Terrapin. Check out the membership system if you guys are feeling generous enough. And I don't know what I'm going to do next time, genuinely. I think I might do a tier list on Grappler Drip and the Grappler Fits, I'm thinking. And I don't know what I'm going to do for the Grappler Church. I genuinely have no idea, but I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.